Long ago, in a bright and peaceful kingdom surrounded by rolling hills and silver rivers, there lived a cheerful girl named Elara. She shared a small but warm home with her loving father, who adored her more than anything in the world. Their days were filled with laughter, music, and simple joys. "Higher, Papa, higher," she would shout as he pushed her on the wooden swing beneath the old oak tree. But happiness does not always stay forever. One cold winter, Elara's father fell ill and passed away, leaving her heartbroken and alone. Soon after, her stepmother, Lady Verena, took full control of the house. She was stern, proud, and carried little kindness in her heart. With her came her two daughters, Serafina and Drusilla Vane, dramatic and terribly spoiled. From the moment they arrived, everything changed. Elara's bright dresses were replaced with dull work clothes. Her warm bedroom was taken away, and she was moved to a dusty loft near the roof. She was given endless chores, scrubbing floors, washing clothes, cooking meals, polishing silver, cleaning windows. One afternoon, as soot smudged her face from cleaning the fireplace, Serafina laughed. "Look at her, covered in ashes again." Drusilla giggled. "She looks like a little cinder girl." From that day on, they mockingly called her Cinderella. Yet despite their cruelty, Cinderella never let bitterness grow inside her heart. She spoke kindly to the birds that perched by her window and the little mice that scurried across the attic floor. Someday, she would whisper softly, "Life will change." One bright morning, trumpets echoed through the streets. A royal herald announced exciting news. The king would host a grand celebration at the palace. Every young woman in the kingdom was invited. The prince would choose a bride. Serafina squealed with excitement. "He will choose me." Drusilla flipped her hair. "Obviously, I'm the prettier one." Cinderella's heart fluttered. "The invitation says every young woman," she said quietly. "That means I may go to." Lady Verena smiled thinly. "You may attend if you finish every task I give you. And, of course, if you find something suitable to wear." Hope bloomed in Cinderella's chest. She found her late mother's old gown tucked away in a trunk. Though faded, it still held beauty. With needle and thread, she worked tirelessly to repair it. The little mice and birds helped, bringing ribbons and tiny decorations. But Lady Verena had other plans, more chores. She commanded coldly, scrubbed the terrace, washed the curtains, polished the candlesticks. By the time evening came, Cinderella was exhausted. When she finally hurried upstairs to retrieve her dress, she found her stepsisters waiting. "That ribbon is mine," Serafina snapped. "And those beads belong to me," Drusilla shouted. They tore the gown until it hung in shreds. Laughing cruelly, they left for the palace. Alone in the quiet garden, Cinderella sank beside a fountain and wept. "It's no use," she whispered. "Dreams are not meant for me." Suddenly, the air shimmered like stardust. A warm, gentle voice spoke behind her. "My dear child, why are you crying?" Before her stood a glowing woman with kind eyes, her fairy guardian. "You shall go to the celebration," the fairy said softly. "But we must hurry." With a graceful wave of her wand, magic swirled through the garden. A pumpkin transformed into a grand golden carriage. The mice became elegant white horses. The old stable horse turned into a proud coachman. Then the fairy touched Cinderella's torn gown. In a burst of light, it became a breathtaking silver blue dress that shimmered like moonlight. On her feet appeared delicate crystal slippers. Cinderella gasped, "It's beautiful." Remember, the fairy warned gently, when the clock strikes midnight, the magic will fade. I promise to return before then. At the palace, music filled the grand ballroom. The prince stood politely greeting guests, though none truly captured his attention. Then the doors opened. Cinderella entered like a falling star. The room fell silent. The prince stepped forward, unable to look away. "May I have this dance?" They moved across the floor effortlessly, as if the music belonged only to them. They spoke, laughed, and shared stories beneath glittering chandeliers. "I feel as though I have known you for years," the prince said softly. She smiled. "And I have never felt more alive." Then bells began to ring. Midnight. Cinderella's eyes widened. "I must go." She rushed down the marble staircase. In her haste, one crystal slipper slipped from her foot. She did not stop. Moments later, the magic vanished. She stood once more in her simple clothes outside her home, but she still held the matching slipper. Back at the palace, the prince held the lost shoe carefully. "Find her," he commanded. "Search the entire kingdom." The next day, royal officials traveled door to door. Every young woman tried the slipper, but none fit. Finally, they arrived at Lady Verena's house. "My daughters are the only eligible ones here," Lady Verena insisted quickly. Meanwhile, Cinderella had been locked in the attic, but her tiny mouse friends bravely stole the key and slid it under the door. She rushed downstairs just as the official prepared to leave. "Please," she said gently, "may I try?" Lady Verena knocked the slipper from his hand. It shattered on the floor. "Oh dear," she sighed dramatically. "Such a pity." Cinderella smiled calmly and reached into her pocket. "It's all right. I have the other one." She slipped it onto her foot. It fit perfectly. Soon after, she returned to the palace. The prince's face lit up the moment he saw her. Wedding bells rang across the kingdom. In a ceremony filled with joy, they promised to stand beside each other forever. Even as queen, Cinderella remained kind and forgiving. She chose compassion over revenge, grace over bitterness, and in the grand castle overlooking the kingdom, she finally found the happiness she had always believed in. And so, in a land once shadowed by sorrow, hope proved stronger than cruelty, and kindness became the greatest magic of all.